Well, the college football coaches have spoken. They say a bigger playoff plus no conference championship games. We'll tell you what that means and why it may or may not happen. Plus, Maryland's win total. All that today on a Locked On Big Ten Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Welcome in. It is another edition of the Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm Jacob Goins, filling in for Spencer McLaughlin, who said he had better things to do, and the host of Locked On Hoosiers is what I do. Roman Tomashoff is the host of Locked On Huskies, Jay Stevens, the host of Locked On Buckeyes, and Isaiah Hole, the host of Locked On Wolverines. And we have a lot to get to today. Maryland's win total, it's not good, and somehow they might still go under that. We'll talk about that later in the show, plus the news that has swept the college football landscape as coaches have voted for a bigger college football playoff. They have voted for no more conference championship games, and they want the season to end in mid-January. Roman, I will start with you, my friend. Your thoughts on this group coming together, the American Football Coaches Association, and making their voice be heard.
I don't even know where to start here because there's just so much that goes into all this. The thing that stuck out to me, because, you know, we're going through the Big Ten Squad text thread and seeing all these things, the first thing that popped in my head was the coaches voted to expand the playoff. Oh man, like this sucks, but also this is the least surprising thing I think I've seen from all of this, because, you know, if you're some average, like we're going to be talking about Mike Locksley a little bit later on, right? Where this is probably a bad example, but if you're Mike Locksley and you're, you know, getting a 5-star like Zion Ely every single year and you're 8-4, 9-3, whatever, and you're just consistently the number 22 team in the country and making the college football playoff every year, yeah, you got job security for life, man. This is great. Where are you going to go? I think that's probably the thing that sticks out to me the most about all this. I don't like it. I think it sucks. It's boring, and it waters down so much of something that I think we've seen with the 12-team playoff is already a little watered down. But at the same point, I can't sit here and act like I'm shocked by any of this.
Well, you speak of job security, Roman, and I'm so sorry that you're singled out here. I mean, we have the defending back-to-back national championship representatives in this call today.
You know what? This is really unnecessary because all 4 of our teams have played in a national championship in the last 3 years too. So I appreciate that.
But there's something that sets us apart from you, Roman, and you in Washington. Well, Jay and Isaiah both. I mean, the expanded playoff, again, it's something that has been talked about forever, and they are open. These coaches talked about they are open to a 16-team playoff, but expansion was inevitable. And I like what Roman said is, look, you are going to have a college football playoff where you make it as the 18th team. That doesn't mean as much as it would be if it was only the 4 team, right, Jay? I mean, that's kind of where this is leading, and maybe the coaches have just come to realize that.
No, you're right. The one thing I like about them proposing the 2014 playoff is that that's the max number. They're not saying 24 and then potentially a number higher than that. It's the max 76. There. And so, yeah, exactly. I don't like 24 at all. I think that what we have the 12, you need to get more data before trying to expand it. But we know that money is ruling everything and has so much power right now. And so you're going to get more than 12 very soon. I only like the part that they say, yeah, this is the max number. I don't like the number. At least you put a cutoff point there. The one thing I do enjoy is getting rid of the conference championship games and then putting a cutoff period every single year in the calendar about when the season is going to end. The fact that this year is going to end January 25th, which is absurd. It's silly, but no one's really stopping anybody from expanding and pushing the season out. And so until somebody puts their foot down and says, this is it, this is where we're going to end it, people are going to continue to push it out. You could eventually, if this doesn't go into effect, you could eventually have a season where the college football national championship game is Super Bowl week. That would be stupid. But that's what we're getting closer to. But I'm glad the coaches are finally getting out there, putting their voice out there in a collective way. We've heard coaches in moments in interviews say, I want this or I want that. But as a collective group coming out here and saying, this is what we want, I like that.
This American Football Coaches Association has over 11,000 members, but the couple of names that you need to know, Brent Venables from Oklahoma, Rhett Lashley from SMU, Joey McGuire from Texas Tech. So there are some heavy hitting names that are in this panel. And Isaiah, are you in the boat of these coaches have just finally realized this is going to happen, so we may as well get behind it? Or do you think they believe that expansion is what's best for college football?
I think the other two really kind of hit the nail on the head. The only thing that they haven't hit is, I understand you want to cap it at 24. Like, I think you need to be a little bit more progressive if you're one of these coaches, and think bigger, right? Like 24 this year, 48 the next year, 96 in 3 years, 512 in, 512 teams, but I mean, that's the way to go. No, I don't think that they think this is they think this is the best thing for them, right? Because of what Roman said. And ultimately, like, I kind of feel like we need to go back to the 70s, man. We need to just, like, you're going to have some coaches vote on a national champion. You're going to have some media people vote on a national champion, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's too much. You ruined it. Because I don't even like the 12, let alone 24. I'm on record vehemently and adamantly about that, because it used to mean something when you were in that top four. And I understand Indiana wasn't in that, but they would have been in that this past year, right?
Right.
Like, it used to actually mean something. And you'd actually, like, there was something about when you would go and you'd see like a team's practice facility and they have that college football playoff logo up there. I mean, no offense to them, but like James Madison has that now, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
And like the movie Social Network, talking about Facebook, the idea of it being like this exclusive thing made it better in a way, right? Like, MySpace was all over the place, and Facebook, everyone was clamoring to get on Facebook because there was only a few schools that had it. And I was fortunate to be at Michigan at that time. And then eventually it became like, it's like a laughing stock of a social network now, essentially, right? Like it's not like a cool thing to be a part of. And college football's kind of gone that way. It's MySpace, it's Facebook, it's whatever the popular thing is that was ruined by expansion and greed.
Well, I heard a perspective the other day, and it leads in, it kind of builds off what you just talked about, Isaiah, is the expectations now for so many teams. The bar has been lowered. If you add more teams to the playoff, then the bar is lowered. And what I think is going to happen, I don't like this, but I think it's what's going to happen, is you now have to reset the standard for a head coach, because making a 24-team college football playoff for Maryland, the team we're going to talk about at the end, that's a big deal. It's a big deal for them to make a 76-team college football playoff, but to make a 24-team playoff for Indiana now, Ohio State always, Michigan always, I think Washington could be in that conversation too, Roman, while you're here. That doesn't mean as much.
Well,
and you shouldn't save your job at major college football programs just because you, quote, made the playoffs. And if there's 24, 48, whatever, it's just watered down and it doesn't mean as much. So maybe we have to change the expectation and the standard and what saves your job as a head coach in college football. I think. I don't know. I mean, for Indiana,
I like this a lot.
Whatever.
Sorry, Jacob. No, I like this a lot because it's something to go back to what you're saying a couple of minutes ago, where you're rubbing your national championships in my face. Thanks to all three of you for that. I look at Washington in particular, where in the 4-team playoff era, they were the only team in the Pac-12 to make it multiple times. And they did that under multiple head coaches. And it's something we're looking towards the future and looking, at Jed Fish and looking at this program right now, where, if Jed Fish wants to be in the college football playoff, it's not something where at Washington, especially, considering that sort of history, you can skate by it being number 16, number 17, whatever, every single year. That's great. You want to be there and you want to consistently be part of that, right? At the end of the day, that looks good, but that should not be the standard for programs that win or compete for national championships on a yearly basis.
I agree.
I want to add to that, because here's the thing that I think people like that are controlling this aren't recognizing. In a couple of years, everyone's going to get bored.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's at some point, it's just making it in isn't going to mean anything. And no one's going to care. And eventually people are going to not care too much because the top teams are always going to tend to beat the lower ranked teams. So like that first week, eventually, like people are just they're going to tune into the one that's the closest seeded games, and then otherwise everyone's going to be like, well, whatever, who cares? No one usually cares about seeing the number 1 team versus the number 25 team as it is.
Yeah, and they'll tune out for weeks at a time and then come back, like you said, at the Elite Eight, the Final Four, the national championship. And one thing that builds off of this that we're going to talk about after the break, not only do they want a 24-team college football playoff, they want to eliminate conference title games, something I personally have talked about, and I know that Spencer McLaughlin, of host of Locked On College Football, has talked about as well. He joins us in the second segment. Roman, you'll have more representation of teams that haven't won a national championship. Spencer joins us in the second segment talking about no conference title games right after this on the Locked On Big Ten Squad. Today's episode of the Locked On Big Ten Squad is brought to you by Rugia. The NHL playoffs are here, where every shift matters, every moment is intense, and the pressure is at its highest. Me personally, I love the NHL playoffs. It's some of the best postseason action in all of sports, and it is just so fiery. It's so intense. It's everything you want in April and in May. And just like performance on the ice that matters, it matters off the ice too. That's where Rugia comes in. Rugia offers treatments designed to help you get ready and stay ready when it matters. Their top option, Rugia Ready, combines clinically proven ingredients and a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. And it works fast, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. It's all about the confidence and feeling like yourself again. Head to Rugia.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL. Yes, Locked On NHL for 15% off. Rugia, performance medicine for men. All right, welcome back into the Locked On Big Ten Squad, and we are joined by Spencer McLaughlin, host of Locked On College Football, host of another show on the Big Ten Network that we won't talk about. And Spencer, where are you joining us from? A car, obviously.
What did that show ever do to any of you?
I caught about half of that.
He's kind of here.
He's kind of here, kind of not.
Oh, boy.
Is that Mark Culkin on the other line? There we go.
Not good. Is the connection shaky? That's unfortunate.
I think it's all right.
Not great.
We can limp through it. If it gets bad, I'll just boot you out of here. But your thoughts, my friend. I know how you feel about a 24-team playoff, but your thoughts on the American Football Coaches Association. I have to look at it and read it every time because I can't remember it. Your thoughts on them trying to get rid of conference title games altogether.
Makes all the sense in the world. And unfortunately, predating a 24-team expansion also makes it make some sense. But just as a general rule, even now that we're at 12 teams, the conference title games don't make a lot of sense to me, just because we're not even clear as a college football community how we treat them. Alabama's result was ignored. BYU's was not. What are we doing here? I think it should only be a benefit. And if you're not going to apply that consistently, then get rid of them. And that's the first gripe I have with them. The second gripe is the timing with the playoff just doesn't make any sense. We're ending this season on January 25th, guys. There's nothing about that makes any sense. So wasting an entire week by playing conference championship games, no, I don't think that serves a 12-team playoff. It certainly wouldn't serve a 24-team playoff. It would be even worse in that scenario, but I don't think it serves a 12-team playoff. And I know they're big money makers, but if you're going to expand the playoff, then that's where you can recoup your money for people that are super worried about that.
Which is why I've seen a lot of people talk about week 0 just becoming the new week 1. Then you eliminate conference championship games, and you just gain 2 weeks of the season. Take that off the end of January, and boom, you have an opportunity to end in the middle of January.
And then one by instead of 2. I think that's the other notion that is on the table, because the double bye is part of the reason that we get into this sort of mess. And I do think, because some schools have this set up pretty poorly, your bye should not be any earlier than week 4 or 5. I think it's Northwestern has a bye in like week 2 or 3, and then they just play 9 or 10 straight games. And it's like,
That's terrible.
what is the point of that? What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah. Jay Stevens of Locked On Buckeyes, your thoughts on a possible elimination of the Big Ten championship game?
I'm here for it. Big Ten specifically, I am here for getting rid of it because it's kind of like the NFL.
Because Ohio State lost it last year? Is that why? Okay.
We're not talking about that game.
If we eliminate it right now, Indiana will be the last Big Ten championship game winner. I think we do it right now. I think we just cut it off.
Honestly, that sounds like fun. I can't push back.
Spencer, stop. Jacob, I like you. I like you a lot, but not the outcome of that game. But I'm here for it. I've always been a fan of not playing the game. Yeah, it's good for money, and I've been there before. It's great. It's a good atmosphere. But overall, you play 9 conference games, and then you want to wait till 1 week after to play a championship game and say, oh, well, you did enough to get here, and maybe the team that was best at the end of the regular season loses this game. Well, yeah, you played the games, but I put more stock in those 9 regular season games than the outcome of that one. I know you have to earn your right to get there, but I just don't really care for the Big Ten title game. Overall in college football, get rid of them. If everything was the same, if the Big Ten, the ACC, the SEC, if everybody had the same criteria to get there and had the same number of conference games, and if every conference was created equal, I'd be cool. I'd may be cool keeping them, but they're not. You're clearly not having the same criteria for teams in a conference nor criteria to get in the conference championship game. So you have to get rid of them because they're not all created equal.
But Isaiah, the history we would lose of not having the Big Ten championship game, right? I mean, the purists in college football say that you have to play it. It's always been played. We can't get rid of it, right?
Listen, it's had a long.
It has not always
going all the way back to 2011.
Right.
It's
Thank you.
Remember what happened before then. I'm glad you actually that was going to start with that, right? Because that's kind of the big thing is. It hasn't really been around forever, and I'm more accustomed to the Big Ten not having a conference championship game. I like the conference championship game. It feels like a pleasure to be able to go to it and to partake in it when you're there, but it's kind of rendered meaningless, especially like how they should have done the playoff essentially was to say we have however many power conferences, we're going to have that many teams in, and the winner of the championship game gets to play in said playoff. That only makes the most sense in the world. They didn't do that. So if they didn't do that, then yeah, I think like go ahead and eliminate it. Because otherwise, like, yeah, you see teams get harmed by, losing that game. Like you mentioned BYU earlier. I mean, it's absurd. I was just looking through BYU earlier today, considering, we got a couple guys at Michigan from there now. And the fact that they went 12-2 last year, and I understand that one of those came in the bowl game, but and didn't make the playoff is just crazy. So yeah, do away with the conference championship game because teams that shouldn't be penalized for playing an extra game.
Roman of Locked On Huskies, are you cool with getting rid of the championship game that Washington's never been in and maybe wouldn't be in if they got rid of it right now?
Especially speaking from the experience of a long time Big Ten member, all 2 years that Washington's been in this conference, it would be heartbreaking
to speak from right now. That's why I saved you from.
Hey, we brought in like 500 million, us West Coast schools. The Big Ten should be on their hands and knees.
That's true.
Thanking their lucky stars. We decided to grace this league with our presence.
I hate saying these words. I agree with Spencer. I think that this is it's something that I look at where, just to even this out, like the 2023 Pac-12 championship game will always be one of my favorite memories of all time. Tremendous game that obviously elevates Washington playoff and so on when it really mattered because there were only 4 teams. But I feel like there should be some kind of way around this with the dumb 24 team playoff. It just feels like we're going to wind up seeing at this point in time where it shouldn't, it shouldn't matter long term, but when we're going to see 6 teams from this conference and 6 from the SEC, if you want to replace the conference championship game, seed Big Ten and SEC teams against each other and just give us something like that instead. I feel like that would be some kind of fun way to, mitigate that, I should say.
Yeah, I think so. And so many people have talked about like a 4-team play-in from each conference, right? If the SEC and the Big Ten get 4 teams, have some
No,
play-ins of.
Jay's correct. Jay's got me
I'm
on
just,
this.
Wrong side.
I'm the neutral, just presenter of information here. Okay, I'm just spitting out things I've heard. I'm not saying if I like it or dislike it.
I
I'm just
appreciate that you
here.
did not directly steal my name because no one else could possibly be as neutral arbiter of college
I
football.
was
as I
going to
am.
ask
Thank
if he
you
was
for that.
taking the title of neutral arbiter of college football. So you
No,
beat me.
because
No,
I'm not
he used
neutral at all.
very different language. Very
At
different
least you're
language.
honest.
No, I'm not. Well, we've talked 2014 playoff. We've talked conference championship game. How about we talk about a team that has no business in either one of those? Let's talk Maryland and a 4.5 win total. Yes, that's legit. 4.5. We talk about the Terps right after this and why somebody might pick them to go over. All right, final segment on this edition of a Locked On Big Ten Squad. We got 5 strong on this Thursday, and we are 2 teams in. Spencer, is that a hand up?
Yeah. Can I go first?
Yeah. Your signal says you need to go first. Maryland, 4.5. We've started this trend. God, it's so delayed. It's so terrible. Okay. We're 3 teams into our over-under win totals thanks to our friends at FanDuel. We started with Purdue, then Michigan State, and now we go to Maryland. Over, under 4.5, Spencer. Make it quick because you may not last that long with your service.
Well, I don't usually last that long in a lot of ways, so I'll just go 4.5. And I'm going.
Yeah, never mind. We're moving on from that. I saw a thumbs down and I heard something about 4.5. So I'm going to assume for Spencer, he went under 4.5. Here is the Maryland football schedule for those of you who don't have it printed out and handy right here in front of you. Hampton, the Pirates is who they start with. Then they go, to UConn in week 2 to the Maryland Terps. Then they host Virginia Tech with a new head coach, James Franklin. Then they host UCLA. They go to Nebraska, to Ohio State, home for Rutgers bye week, home for Illinois, at Purdue, home for Wisconsin, at USC, and home for Penn State. So, Roman, I will toss this to you, my friend. FanDuel says 4.5 over or under the win total for Maryland this season.
I came into this very biased. And then I looked at the schedule again and I said, you know what? Give me the over. I think they can win. This is gonna be a hot take here to start. I think they can win against Hampton. I know. You can quote me on that. Feel free. Give me wins at Hampton, UConn, Rutgers, Purdue, and Wisconsin. I think that's the 5.
Wow.
I was doing that. I was like, oh, maybe they can go over. And I think that a lot of this is going to come down to the fact that you do have a lot of talent to rush the passer with Sidney Stewart, Zahir Mathis. I'm curious to see what Zion Ely looks like as well. And then you have a talented quarterback in Malik Washington as well. Is that going to be enough to get Mike Locksley to keep his job? I know I was on the show last year saying he's got enough young talent. Give him one more year. Let's see what it's going to look like. I can't say I have a lot of faith in him. Can't say I have a lot of faith in these things working out. But he does have the talent to at least let it play out for the season.
37-49 is the record of Mike Locksley in his time at Maryland. Jay Stevens of Locked On Buckeyes, even if he does go over and get 5 wins, is that enough to save his job? And then your answer on over or under 4.5 wins.
No, it shouldn't be enough to save his job. I was saying get rid of him last year. So I'm still on the not a big fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike Locksley, the head coach. If he was an offensive coordinator, I'd be more for that move for his career at this point in time. But I'm also going with the under. With those 5 games you mentioned, Roman, I have Rutgers and Wisconsin as toss-ups, and I can only see them winning one of the 2. And so I still had them going under. Roman made a good point a year ago because we had maybe a little short back and forth about me being off Mike Locksley, him being a big fan, saying keep him, and talking about the pass rushers and the recruiting that they've brought in. I don't care about the recruits if they don't produce on the field. So maybe it's a little bit harsh, but as I see it, they've had back-to-back 4-win seasons. I don't see a reason why the team should be have 5, 6, or 7 because team morale is so low. If it was like 8 wins and then 4, then up to 7, yeah, you have a little bit more belief. You've had down years the past 2 years. The team already doesn't trust what's happening right now. Yeah, bringing in fresh blood is great, but they're inexperienced, and that means something, especially on the road in the Big Ten. I'm going under. I don't want to say Mike Locksley will be the first coach gone this year in the Big Ten, but I believe he'll be one of the coaches let go in the middle of the season.
If I was a better host, I would have had Jay go last because of the four of us here, Ohio State is the only one that Maryland plays. They don't play IU, they don't play Washington, and they don't play Michigan, but it is what it is. Isaiah, your thoughts on Maryland? I'm not going to ask you to go super in-depth and tell me your whole opinion on the two deep of that team, but over-under 4.5 wins of Maryland in 2026. Again, they've got Virginia Tech, UCLA, road trips to Columbus, road trip out to Los Angeles to take on USC, and they have to host Illinois and Penn State and Wisconsin.
I'm actually going to go over for a couple reasons here. Number one, I understand they've had the back-to-back 4-win seasons, but I mean, even under Locksley outside of the last 2 years, and actually I think even 2 years ago, maybe my memory might be failing me here. They always tend to start really hot, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and that's even before Locksley. Like you'd be like, oh man, Maryland just beat Texas, and then they would like lose out. But they are a lot more experienced, right? Like I put a lot of stock into returning experience, and Maryland is second in returning snaps. I think they're about the same, and Bill Connolly's returning production this year. That tends to mean something, and even if it's bad experience, it tends to mean something. And so, like, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I don't know that like Virginia Tech is necessarily like a team that is going to be able to beat the Terps, right? UCLA coming to Maryland. Like I feel like they could start out the season 4-0, and then they just have to get that other that Purdue or that Wisconsin, like you mentioned. And it wouldn't surprise me if they managed to snag a game that they're not supposed to, because that's historically under even Locksley. That's kind of what they've been able to do. They haven't really been able to get a Michigan or Ohio State, but like they've been able to get a team here and there over the course of the last decade-ish that they weren't supposed to. So I think they're going to kind of revert to that, just kind of given their experience.
I like it. I think it's very possible. Look, there are winnable games on this schedule, but then I remind myself it's Maryland, and I'm like, okay, maybe not so much. I'm going under. I think they have another 4-win season. That's about as far as I can talk myself into is 4 wins. But look, they have a chance to not necessarily play home wrecker, I guess, but they have some bigger games on there where they could be a spoiler, if you will. And so that is the Maryland win total. That is the 24-team college football playoff conversation. No more title games if those things come to fruition. Great conversation on today's episode of this Locked On Big Ten Squad. For Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies, Jay Stevens of Locked On Buckeyes, Isaiah Hull, Locked On Wolverines. Spencer was here and somewhere, but he doesn't get credit for that appearance. He doesn't get credit for that. I'm Jacob Goins, the host of Locked On Hoosiers. We are back next week to do it all again. So until then, stay safe, and we'll talk to you later.